Tomorrow is NHL24's full release, but if you bought the pre-order, you got 3 days early access with X Factor Edition. I was one of those people that took advantage of the 3 days early playtime, and I've got some decent amount of time in on NHL24 already, and I want to go over everything you need to know before going into NHL24 this year. There's been a lot of big changes, and a lot of changes that are going to take some getting used to, especially if you've been a fan of the other NHL games that have been in the series. Before I get into that, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'll keep you up to date on all NHL news and content. And drop a like on this video if you found it useful at all, because it really does help me out and helps boost my video in the algorithm. So the big thing for me this year in the new game is that the hitting system has been completely revamped. Personally, I'm not the best player at these NHL games. For some reason, I've never been able to pick up on how to play defense very well, and that's something that's very much hurt me in the past couple years. This year though, that completely got changed even more, because now body checking is completely changed. Now to throw a simple shoulder check, you have to flick the right stick up, and if you want to drop a big hit, you have to take the right stick back and then flick it up into the player, so it takes a lot more timing and you can't just run into them anymore. On top of that, you can also throw big hip checks now that will leave players down on the ice for longer. Now I'll be honest, the first day of early access when this came out, I absolutely hated it. It takes a little bit of time getting used to, but once you get the general feel for it, it's not that bad. But like I said though, it takes a good bit of getting used to, and it just comes with time of playing the game. My main issue with it though, is that it feels like it's very hard to bump people off the pucks this year. I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong so far, but it just feels kind of awkward to throw hits now. The total controls overall is just very hard to get used to, especially because I used to play on hybrid, and I know a lot of people didn't, and that was the old way of playing, and I should have been on skill stick, but that was the way I just preferred. Now this year, you only have the choice between skill stick and total control. Getting used to total control has been a complete whirlwind of change for me, and it's kind of hard, but I am doing it very well now. But this is just something you should know going into getting the game. One other change that they made to the game is now all the menus are in dark mode, and it's a lot easier on your eyes. I don't know about you, but when I play the game, my eyes often get very strained from the ice being so white and the screen just being so bright in general when I play. So then making the menus a darker color really does help a lot actually. It's not something you'd really think about, but now that the change is here, I hope that they never go back to the bright screens, because having the dark screens really helps in between games. Now that that stuff's out of the way, let's get into the next big change that you should know about for the game. One other change that I've noticed this year is that the graphics are greatly improved. The ice looks so much better than it has in past games, and it really looks realistic. Same thing with the improved player faces. It looks a lot better than it has in years past, and I think this year they're really taking a big step up on these next-gen consoles. I think next year will probably be the first year that we don't get the Xbox Ones and PS4 games anymore, and I think that's good, because then they'll be able to dive full into the full capabilities of the new-gen consoles. Graphics though are something you just have to experience yourself and experience while you're playing, because they are just a lot better than they have been recently. One big thing that they changed is the new exhaust engine that they put in for the offensive zone. Basically what this does, when you're in the offensive zone, a little pressure gauge will start filling up for you. Whenever this gets to the full pressure amount, and then what it does is it makes the other team's players get very fatigued the longer you keep them hemmed in their own zone. On top of this, it also makes their goalie very tired, which can lead to some very easy goals. This system is very nice when you're on offense, but when you're on defense, it sucks. Whenever all 5 of your players out there on the ice are all drained and have no stamina left, it can be very hard to get the puck up to the red line so you can get a change. So if you suck on defense like I do, it can lead to a little bit of change, but it just takes time to get used to it. On offense though, this change is really nice. You can zip around the offensive zone more easily, and you can get some more passes going, which can lead you to easier shots. The more shots you take, the more the goalie will get fatigued, and then the more likely you are to get an easy goal. One other thing that I've noticed so far when it comes to offense is that it feels like there's a lot more rebound goals this year. A lot more scrappy goals are going in for me, and I think that's a big change from what it's been in years past. Especially last year when the easiest goal was to just cut across the screen and go top shelf on the goalie. Now you kind of have to battle a little bit with the puck, and it makes it a lot more fun to play in my opinion. It makes it a lot harder for the other teams to score when they're a lot better for you, and when you're a smaller player like I am and not as good, it actually does help a lot, because then not as many goals are going in. I do really like this change, and I really do think the direction of the franchise is going a lot better than it has been in years past. I don't know if you guys watch them, but I've watched different videos when it comes to the community playtest, and it seems like the new people in charge of the NHL games actually care about the games and not just making money off of them. They're actually going to listen to fan support, and they're actually going to update things throughout the year, which is something that's been lacking in recent games. I think this year is the first step in the right direction for the franchise, and I think it's only going to go up from here personally. But be aware, if you are going to get the game for opening day, there are some bugs in it already that I've found. Obviously these will get patched out, and the more people report them, especially when more people get access to the game, the more they'll be taken care of, and it'll be gone pretty fast. As I was saying though, this is the first time in a long time that I've had a lot of hope for the NHL video game series. The new people in charge of the game are really getting the community involved and are actively reaching out to creators to know what they want improved with the game, and then that helps us all out overall because they're actually getting a community feel. I highly recommend you go look at some of the playtest videos that they talked about, and they talked about all the different stuff that they've added and the different stuff that they plan to do. A lot of the changes they want to make, they've talked about, can't go in just one video game cycle, so it's going to take a couple games to get it out. But I do see big changes coming into this game, and I really do think that it's going to be a lot better than in years past. This year might just be the start of it, but I do think there's big changes coming for the franchise. Right now, I do think this game is actually worth its money for once. It's a lot different feel than the other games, and it really does give you a new experience. But at the end of the day, that's really up for you to decide. If you give the game a chance, let me know what you think about it in the comments below. But without further ado, thank you so much for watching, and leave a like on the video if you enjoyed it.